The teams A, B, and Alpha stood out while the Celtics managed to score 5 points. It's a great pleasure to have everyone back. The result was 5-0. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter which formation Celtic brought to the field. They have the necessary knowledge to perform well and, most importantly, secure the win. Celtic's performance was truly impressive. Considering all the changes and opportunities given, it seemed like we were watching the best Celtic team in action. That's what impressed me the most in this game. I was really looking forward to today's match. We talked about it in a live stream for members before the game started. The expectation was extremely high, more so than in other league matches, because there was a different atmosphere. Players like Johnny Kenny, Mike Nawrocki, and even Paolo Bernardo were able to return to the starting lineup. I was very curious to see how these changes would impact the performance, and indeed, there was a positive effect. There were no negative aspects. There was just a short period of 10 to 15 minutes when Celtic didn't seem to be at their best, but we'll talk about that soon. Moreover, it could easily seem like that was Celtic's ideal formation. I could assume that Dyson and Maid were playing on the wings. I could imagine that Cameron Carter-Vickers and the usual defense were on the field. I could think that Celtic was in their best shape. And if this were a test for the Scottish Cup, it would be wiser to just hand us the trophy now. Because if Aberdeen performs like this against Team B, well, imagine what it would be like when facing Team A. What an amazing match tonight. It truly was one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had watching Celtic in action. It would be better if they handed us the trophy, because if Aberdeen plays like this against Team B, imagine how it will be when facing Team A. What a great match this was. Honestly, it was one of the most rewarding experiences I've had watching Celtic away from home this season. I can't attend every match. I usually watch a few away games annually. I generally watch these matches alongside my father. This has been the most enjoyable way to experience away games this year, especially because the atmosphere was different and the performance with all the changes was excellent. The only thing missing was a goal from James Forrest, but I'm excited about the result of the night. The penultimate match of the season is now over, and we look ahead where we left number 55, continuing to move forward as if we were a steam train. I remember a moment in this season when concerns arose about a possible dip in performance. That seems like a long time ago. So let's start from the beginning, as we often do, and the lineup was what really caught our attention right away. When the lineup was announced, the reactions were quite varied. Some Celtic fans were a little pessimistic and nervous about a number of changes and the opportunities given. It was an important chance for many of these players, and many thought it would have been simple for Celtic to just give up. However, I believe that most Celtic fans like me were intrigued and excited about the lineup. I've mentioned this before, even if Celtic had gone out and lost today, unless it was a 5-1 defeat, I wouldn't have been too upset. But we won with that score, so everything is fine. I also mentioned before that if Celtic had lost 1-0 or 2-0 with the formation we fielded, I wouldn't have been excessively worried and would consider it an exaggeration if anyone was. This match was about crossing the finish line and bringing the win to the next challenge. That doesn't mean it would have been acceptable for Celtic to lose. I would never suggest that. The team we faced wouldn't have sparked such a debate, and any discussion would have seemed artificial had there been a query. This was solely focused on overcoming difficulties and attaining victory on Saturday. It is essential to emphasize that I would never imply that a team's loss is acceptable. I have no desire to witness any defeat regardless of the match's importance, even in a European Cup final. I do not want the team to lose, as each match holds significance. However, if we had faced a loss this evening amidst all those changes, I would have considered it justifiable. Ultimately, it was the players on the field this evening who held the responsibility, especially the 11 who had opportunities that might have been their last, and they capitalized on those moments. I experienced a genuine thrill, and I believe that feeling was warranted. My faith in these players was reconfirmed tonight. I didn't think the team would necessarily falter with that lineup on the field, as we remain a resilient group. What stands out the most is our manager's capability to choose a team and secure victories. He has guided, trained, and readied these players so that regardless of the combination on the pitch, we can meet our goals. I hold confidence in the coaching staff and trust the players, from the starters to the younger members throughout the roster. I believe in the coach's ability to enable these players to collaborate effectively and achieve wins. This was particularly evident tonight. Even with a modified team and different players in every position, we didn't look disorganized. We played some truly remarkable football. I thought that if this was the 11 working together consistently, we could have scored a plethora of goals today. It was against a team that has faced inconsistencies this season, yet they remain one of the stronger squads. That illustrates our performance. I was genuinely pleased with the team's strong start. In the first 30 minutes, we were completely in control. The opposing team mounted a few attacks, but our defense handled them swiftly. We dominated that opening phase and felt we warranted at least a couple of goals. The movement was exceptional, especially from the front three who coordinated brilliantly. If I remember correctly, the front three who took the field this evening included Yang, Johnny, and Kenny, along with James Forrest. It's uncertain if we will witness that combination again, unless future circumstances allow it. They played as if they had a solid rapport, and I believe that with more match experience, we could have found the net a few more times. There were moments when the timing of a run was slightly off, or a pass was a tad too heavy. Nevertheless, Johnny Kenny's movement was remarkable. He situated himself well, and there were occasions when he received the ball from a pass but narrowly missed connecting properly. This is entirely normal after being away from matches for a while. It's typical for one's first touch to be a bit off when not fully in sync. However, I genuinely appreciated the movement of the front three during the first half. The midfielders made their presence felt dominating the game, while defensively we faced minimal challenges. Eventually, we netted the goal we genuinely deserved to initiate the match. It took a bit of time, and I sensed that we required just one goal to stretch the opposing defenders further. The goal came from an unexpected source Mike Emsky scored to put us in the lead 1-0. I was thrilled to see him in the starting 11 tonight. I had pointed out earlier that the game was progressing slowly, and I noticed that Celtic needed a goal to create more space in Aberdeen's defense, and that goal came from an unexpected source. 1-0 for Celtic. I was happy to see him start in this match. I had mentioned before that this could be his last game playing for Celtic, but who knows? With his performance today, perhaps he gave the coach something to think about. I posted something on social media, and I don't want to be misunderstood. It was just a joke. But can we argue that he has a better performance compared to some of our defenders? I don't know. I prefer to have him instead of some other players. And I don't know his trajectory at Celtic well. I've heard rumors that the issue is more about his physical condition than anything else, perhaps a struggle to reach the fitness level that the coach deems essential. That was one of the focal points when he was signed in 2016. We know that's crucial, but putting rumors aside, could it be something the coach can work on and develop? A commentator mentioned this during the match. I'm not sure, but once again, in the match he played, I didn't see any mistakes. He had an excellent performance. I didn't notice anything wrong. If you saw any mistakes, feel free to comment. Maybe I wasn't paying attention if he failed at some point. But indeed, he scored a goal and opened the scoring for Celtic. I thought he played exceptionally. I believe that he and another player complemented each other well on the field tonight. Giving credit to both is fair, but what's the story of his career at Celtic? I don't know. But I'd love for that to be clarified. He opened the scoring. It was 1-0. It didn't take long until the game turned unfavorable for Celtic. I believe this was due to a long break in the match. First of all, I want to express my hope that the supporter who needed medical assistance is well. My thoughts are with them. The safety and well-being of the fans are absolutely essential. However, considering everything, I feel this interruption affected Celtic's performance. They didn't seem the same when the game resumed. I mean, Aberdeen almost immediately scored after the break, quickly advancing to find the net. Celtic seemed a bit lethargic, as if the break had drained their energy, and that feeling lingered after the goal. I thought Aberdeen dominated the rest of the first half until a key moment we will discuss next. They seemed to have control while Celtic was shaken. It seemed they had rested too long and were struggling to regain their rhythm. Fortunately, a specific player stood out, scoring a goal that came from a favorable deflection after a well-worked play, allowing Celtic to regain the lead just before halftime. I believe Aberdeen struggled to get back into the match after that because almost immediately at the start of the second half, another player scored. And what an incredible performance he gave, by the way. He scored a goal and got 2 assists. I thought he was absolutely brilliant tonight. Once again, he showed the qualities expected from a Celtic player. saying this is difficult because he's been at the club for a year. He's been part of the team throughout the season. It's not like he needs to be treated with excessive care or like he won a prize. It's quite rare for a player to transition from a club like Dundee and have such a significant impact, proving to be so reliable. He should be proud of that, even though sometimes it seems like we handle him with kid gloves, because he truly deserves all the recognition he gets. It's quite unusual for a player to come from a club like Dundee and have such a significant impact and prove so reliable. This achievement is something he should cherish, even if it sometimes feels like we're overly cautious in our praise, because he truly deserves all the recognition and praise he gets. He has exceeded all my expectations for him this season, and his performance in this match was extraordinary. He scored a goal early in the second half after a very well-executed play, which resulted in an assist. His contribution was undoubtedly impressive. He and his teammates showed formidable offensive presence throughout the match, and he really deserved his goal. The opposing team seemed out of sorts. Shortly after a new goal was scored, this being his first for the club, his first half performance translated perfectly into his second half showing. It was a well-deserved moment for him. I believe he should have an opportunity elsewhere next year, but honestly, it seems unlikely to happen at the current club. Many people may think he deserves a chance after today's match, and I respect that opinion. However, realistically, I see that his opportunities with the team will be limited next year. It might be beneficial for him to look for a loan to a club as close as possible to home, avoiding a return to a less competitive league. To clarify, this isn't a criticism of the Irish League, it's just a reference to other leagues. The Irish League is going through a good time. I would rather see him in a club within that league where his performance can be properly assessed against teams of that level, instead of putting him in a situation where a fair evaluation can be made. His opportunities on the field should be scarce next year, and if a new striker is signed, he could be even further away from the spots. Anyway, it's wonderful to see him score probably a moment he's envisioned since arriving at the club. It's important to consider that his opportunities will be restricted next year. If another striker joins the team, he will be even lower in the hierarchy. However, it's a joy to see him score that goal a moment he's probably imagined since arriving at the club. After several years here, finally finding the net in a match like this is significant. He sees the opportunity, showing a proactive attitude, and that's exactly what his performance tonight demonstrated. It was exciting to see him score. With the score at 4-1, the opposing team seemed disorganized, and we were dominating the game effectively. We maintained complete control throughout the match. They seemed quite chaotic, to be honest. There were some chances here and there, and the goalkeeper made several important saves. I didn't go into details about the goal conceded, but it's available for anyone who wants to watch the highlights. We had comprehensive control. One player from the opposing team was sent off due to reckless fouls, which I noted as a criticism of today's match. This observation is not about the home team, it's more of a refereeing issue, which allowed some incidents to go unpunished. A standout moment occurred at the end of the game involving a key player. It was a reckless challenge, and the referee didn't apply a card. I can't help but think that moments like this should be analyzed with the aid of technology. I'm not suggesting that the player should have been automatically sent off, but the foul seemed to have received no consideration, and the player acted intentionally to cause harm. There's no doubt about it. It was deliberate. It seems that referees sometimes ignore such moments when one team is leading by a considerable margin, thinking it's irrelevant since the result seems decided, and they simply disregard it. However, that's not the standard that refereeing should follow. Every game should be treated as if it was still tied, as if it were a tight contest, because at any moment the course of the match can change. I acknowledge that the opposing team was already down to 10 players, which complicates the situation. It has been concluded in any event, and the matter seems to be dismissed. Nonetheless, this is not how officiating standards should function. Each game must be considered as though it is fiercely contested, and every instant in a match should maintain the feeling of a scoreless tie, as if either side could clinch the win. I realized that one team was down to 10 players facing an uphill battle and unlikely to net 3 goals, but honestly, they simply allowed it to unfold without consequence. Even if it's just a caution, it should have been given. One team was disorganized while the other executed their passes beautifully. The substitutions indeed made an impact. It was wonderful to witness a player in action right before the weekend's cup match. It was also refreshing to see him return to the field. Another young talent looked impressive coming off the bench. The game concluded with a delightful tap-in goal, leaving fans heading home with a sense of satisfaction. They emerged victorious by a score of 5-1 in a truly remarkable match of the season. There's no indication of slowing down. No matter which side is on the field, regardless of the situation, this team will keep pushing forward. What an exhilarating experience it was. The excitement for Saturday has only grown. With 2 matches left in the season, one on Saturday and the Cup final, there's a strong feeling of confidence regarding that final after tonight's performance. However, conditions can shift and performances can differ. It's not as if everything is resolved just yet. A treble is still to be pursued, not simply given. More discussions will take place tomorrow and Friday as the league season approaches its end, and what a journey this has been. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. In a stunning turn of events that has sent shockwaves through Scottish football, Evangelos Marinakis, the Greek shipping magnate and owner of English side Nottingham Forest and Greek giants OLYMPIACOS, has reportedly made a £1 billion offer to acquire Celtic Football Club. The audacious proposal comes at a time when Celtic are once again asserting their dominance in the Scottish Premiership, and the timing of such an offer has sparked both intrigue and concern across the footballing landscape. Sources close to the deal claim Marinakis sees Celtic as a sleeping European giant, ripe for investment and ready to be transformed into a continental powerhouse. While neither party has officially commented on the offer, whispers from within Parkhead suggests the board is taking the approach seriously. Marinakis' financial muscle and track record of injecting ambition and resources into his clubs could present a tantalizing future for the Hoops, one that goes beyond domestic success and aims squarely at European revival. However, not all fans are convinced. The Green Brigade and other staunch supporters have expressed early skepticism, fearing a loss of identity and local control. Celtic, after all, are more than just a football club. They are an institution woven into the fabric of Glasgow's East End, with a proud history born out of community roots and forged by generations of loyalty. The notion of foreign ownership, especially one with such bold commercial intent, touches on anxieties about commodifying the soul of the club. Still, Marinakis is no stranger to football politics or cultural sensitivities. His handling of Olympiacos has demonstrated both business acumen and a keen understanding of fan culture, while his stewardship at Forest has seen the club return to the Premier League. The question now is whether Celtic's custodians believe such a future aligns with the club's values and whether fans can be brought on side. As negotiations develop behind closed doors, the Celtic faithful are left to wonder, could this be the dawn of a bold new era or the beginning of a battle for the club's soul? Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.